My family's been boating since I was 5 years old. And we started out on the south side of Chicago, Jackson Park Harbor. And my dad and his two brothers were power boaters. And I became a member of Chicago Yacht Club in 1965. I'm told I was the first sibling ever to sponsor his father to the Chicago Yacht Club. And I thought that was quite unique. But I came into the Chicago Yacht Club basically because I had such a robust feeling for sailing and things like that. My brother grew up and sailed the Mac race a few times with a couple of old guys that were sailors, and I never did. I did at the age of 12 years old, I think. I was sailing in Jackson Park Harbor, and I tipped over in the middle of January. And so that sort of put the damper on me for sailing. Frostbite fleet, that's what it was. And so I maintained a powerboat status ever since.
Okay.
But I think I was probably one of the foremost people in the club to ever do a Venetian night so many years. I can give you a little example of what had happened many years ago. When you were on the south side of Jackson Park Harbor, there was an alderman out there by the name of Alderman Piccini, and he was having a fundraiser on the lake at 72nd and the Outer Drive for his fundraising as alderman, and he was also a sailboater, power boater in Jackson Park. So there were a group of friends that my dad included that decided, okay, they were going to have their first Venetian night in front of 72nd in the Outer Drive, and 10 boats got dressed up, and they were going to put the lights on the boat and wave at the people, and that was the first Venetian night. But prior to this, a man called Bill Whalen, I think you all probably remember him from many years ago. He was the man that was doing the editorials for all the sailboaters in Lake with the Chicago Tribune. And Bill Whalen would write stories on the Mac race and things of that nature. And Bill Whalen was also a boater from Jackson Park, and he said to my dad, he says, listen, why don't you guys all, instead of going in there, I'm going to put this thing in the newspaper, and we'll call it Chicago's Venetian Night, and then instead of just going in front of Alderman Piccini at 72nd in the Outer Drive, keep going into Monroe Street Harbor, and I'll say that this is going to be Chicago's Venetian Night. Well, they said, yeah, we'll do that. Well, the 10 boats finished with Alderman Piccini, and they went through the water with all their lights on, and they went into Monroe Street Harbor. And when they circled around and they passed in front of Buckingham Fountain and passed the Chicago Yacht Club, my father was amazed, because what he had seen for the first time was 300,000 people watching the Venetian night. My dad now is a personal friend with Mayor Daley. They went to school together. So he called Mayor Daley up, old man Daley, and he said, Dick, he says, I got a deal for you. And he says, well, come on over to the office, let's talk about it. And my dad walked in, he says, "You got to make this the Chicago's first Venetian night." And he said, "Why? What happened?" He says, "You had 300,000 people. All you have to do is call it Mayor Daley's Venetian night." Mayor Daley said, "By God, that's a good idea." And we had the Chicago Venetian night for many years since then, and that indoctrinated me into Venetian night, because when my dad passed away, I got a larger boat and I raised my children. I've got 5 kids, and I raised them all on the boat. And the greatest part of the Venetian night is to win. And what we did is my kids grew up is in high school and in college. They were the ones that decorated the boat, and we had new ideas every year. Venetian night was something a little bit different every year because you had a theme that you had to go according. Now the theme for Venetian night was, I've had numerous wins, but one of the Venetian nights that we liked was when the astronauts landed on the moon, and I won first place for this. What we did is had big signs on the boat that said the United, we've landed on the moon, and that wasn't just the winning thing. The thing was, I had the other side decorated, so that when I came up to Venetian night at the Buckingham Fountain, I would spin the boat around, and it said, "Tomorrow is Mars," and we had all the aliens dressed up in alien costumes. And because today is the landing of the moon, tomorrow is Mars, and we won first place for that.
Wow, that's quite a story.
So through the years, I guess I was busy boating, and when my wife passed on, I didn't feel the need of a boat anymore, but I maintained residence at the Chicago Yacht Club. My children still come down to the Chicago Yacht Club with me. My son is still a member. And today I'm the proud great-grandfather of number 13, great-grandchild, who was born today. Born today. So we're very enthusiastic about it, because I'm getting to be pretty old, 13 great-grandchildren.